back in days, and maybe not the right terminology, but the precedent was around therapeutic work. So you could, the social welfare system, and the biggest problem is the revenue commissioners. They're the ones that are driving the agenda around what's happening. So there needs to be a piece of work done that allows people to do this type of work. It's not full-time work in any sense. It's probably 2, 3, 4 weeks maybe if they're involved in this piece here of full-time or not even full-time work. So there needs to be some sort of a system in place that allows people, especially people who have used mental health services, to be able to do that piece of work and have the benefits of doing it. Because I don't actually think we should be asking people who have used mental health services to do some work for nothing. You know, I think we've moved past that idea that people should have nothing for doing it other than their experience. I don't like that exploitation of people's experience over and above other people's experience. So I think we need to start from that standpoint of trying to ensure and be creative about how we actually find ways of making that happen.
Right, we'll not have to rush because you know Mike is probably chomping at the bit there. Oh, I think you are now. So, and the payments bit, as you say as well, you know, there are people who have cars, there are people, you know, so they'll be travelling about to find people and whatever else. There are people who can use public transport. So we're trying to, you know, these are wee itty bitty, but very important bits to ensure that people get kind of the same kind of payments and all the rest. And particularly say, learn whatever you use to transport they have. So achieving the target numbers, obviously 600 people is actually very ambitious, but we still believe it's very possible, you know. Paddy himself are going to be doing quite a few interviews as well, kind of questionnaires and stuff. And attaining recognition and acceptance, and this is one of the expected things, because we do suspect that when this comes out, you know, there will be a bit of kind of backlash, or possibly on or something, you know, how we went about this, and is it kind of reliable and all the rest, although it'll have DCU's name attached to it as well. But for instance, I'll just give you one example. We don't know what's going to come out of this, but say for example there was a significant number of people said they were discriminated within mental health services. How would that be received? This is something to think about, do you know what I mean? So we are expecting some kind of questioning of what we've done. And this is just some of our own thinking. I think Jan and Alison has touched on some of the stuff before. We just put this slide up anyway. We think there's exclusion that goes on within the research community of user-led research. So we welcome actually scrutiny, and I think service user-led research should actually encourage scrutiny, so it stands up just as much as any other piece of research. And reliability through validated research protocols process. So we went through the proper kind of protocols and all the rest and processes as anybody else would. And these are just kind of questions for us, you know, because I ask myself a lot of questions, there's always these other questions, never any answers. So partnerships forged. What kind of partnerships should we forge within user-led research? What should they look like? Having the potential recognised through process outcomes, and that's the empowering bit for service users to go out and do their own piece of research, to be skilled up and to feel proud about what they do. You know, the outcome of and the findings of the research is very important. The process is very important as well. And how independent should we be? And that's just a question I have in my own head again. Should we say purely user-led research, or should we say collaborative research? Where does it start, where does it end? Or does it not start and end anywhere? Should we just choose whatever's best for us? But it's just a question. But the last thing to say, because I was thinking about the values-based kind of research. Paddy himself had a presentation over in Oxford last couple of months ago or something like that, at a nursing conference. And the kind of term we kind of used then was experience-based research, which should lead hopefully to experience-based practice. Because if you think about it, evidence-based practice is quite kind of strict in what it's about and what you have to do. But in reality, evidence-based practice doesn't work out the way the research tells us or the findings tell us. What quite often happens is we research a piece, an intervention, or a piece of treatment, or a medication or something. Within 6 months or a year, we find it's not working. So what do? We continue to use it. Our experience tells us it's not working, and that's from the professions right down to the service users. But yet not people continue to use it because it's still supposedly evidence. So if we learn from our experiences, be flexible and adaptable. What I kind of look at it is staff are working and they're observing, and service users are giving feedback about what's working and what's not working for them. To me, that's kind of research, lived research, if that makes any sense to you. And we sort of tend to go towards sort of experience-based research and experience-based practice as well, where you're constantly reflecting and adapting and all the rest. I mean, again, evidence-based practice would tell us maybe that a certain medication works for a specific illness, and if it doesn't work, what do we tend to do? Is that we give more of that medication instead of saying, well, let's think about this for me and let's try something different. Does that make sense? So I don't know if that makes sense, but I tend to think of experience-based research and practice anyway. So that's us. I think, have we anything else to say, Paddy?
No, you said it.
And I suppose we haven't left Mike long.
Right.
I wait for him